often do you feel anxious or overwhelmed when you think about your future or what might happen? So I want to share with you 5 steps on how to stay or how to live in the present moment, because it helped me so much to get through challenges, and I want to share with you how I managed and how I managed to go through enormous challenges in my life, and I wouldn't be here where I am today if I hadn't been in present moment. Seriously. I remember I wanted to start with public speaking, and I wanted to become good in public speaking, but I was so afraid. I was literally sweating just when the thought came up about public speaking, and I challenged myself. At that time, I lived in United States, in the United States, in Missouri, and there was one event coming up here tomorrow, and I needed to submit my speech and create, I think it was 7 or 8 minutes long speech. And I've never ever done that before. I was terrified. Seriously, I was terrified. And when I got accepted, I was at the first excited, and then I panicked. How on earth I'm going to do that? At that moment, I worked with my life coach, my regular life coach, and she said to me, "That's okay if you panic, that's normal. But don't try to suppress your fear. Feel your fear when you're walking on the stage, and I promise you the fear will vanish in 3 minutes and you'll be fine." So I followed her advice, and I remember walking on the stage, shaking. My heart was like, doof, doof. I was just like, I'm panicking. What if I mess up? What if I forget? What if I... All these thoughts were coming up. And then I remember, just be here now. Don't think about what can happen when you speak. Just be here now. Feel your feet when you're walking to the stage. Feel your fear. And I did it. I felt this enormous fear, and I promise you, it really did vanish in 3 minutes. It vanished in 3 minutes, and I was fine, and I delivered this speech so confidently, and everything went so well. My speech was one of the best speeches at that day. And the same happened when I moved from the United States back to Australia. It was 2020 in March when the COVID hit. It was just 2 weeks before the COVID hit. And I remember my husband and I, we just got a rental apartment, and we didn't have any jobs to go to. And we were looking for a job, but with COVID, with all the restrictions, there was no jobs to go to. We kept applying, but we didn't get any job. And on top of this, my health, because of stress and everything, my health deteriorated. I had severe issues with my thyroid. I was also diagnosed with Graves' autoimmune disease, and I had blurry mind. Blurry vision, not blurry mind. I had blurry vision, foggy mind. I couldn't concentrate. I was in pain. I had severe headaches, and my GP called me in like 3 days in a row because my thyroid results were so bad. And then she urgently sent me to more tests. She did more tests, and she sent me to CT of my head and ultrasound of my thyroid and all these additional tests. And I remember I was panicking. How on earth I'm going to find a job if I can't work, if I'm so sick? And my husband being out of the job, and with COVID, like everything felt so dark, so impossible. There was so much fear and anxiety around this because I've made stories about my future in my head. And then I remember, be here now. Because life happens in this moment. Life doesn't happen in the past or in the future. It happens in this moment. So here are my best 5 tips on how to live in the present moment that will really help you going through your life challenges, finding the solutions, and finding the way to live your best life. And the first one is the first step is ask yourself, what is it in the present moment? This my spiritual teacher Leonard Jacobson taught me what it is in the present moment, and just get really present. Okay, I can see TV in my living room, or I can see the tree in my yard, and just be really, really present with this tree so that your thoughts stop. Then you can ask yourself, what is it in your story, which means what stories your mind is coming up. And in my story it is, oh my God, what if I get homeless? Oh my God, how on earth am I going to find a job with all this coronavirus going on? Like, there were really, really panicky stories that I made up in my mind that I'm going to become homeless. And that's why it's so important that we come to the present moment. The second step is stop comparing yourself. What we always do, we compare ourselves to other people or to who we were in the past, for example. And that happened to me when I moved from the United States back to Australia. It was like, oh, in the United States I had such a good life, we had jobs, we earned good money, but now here in Australia we are unemployed. We have no income coming in. We are going to be homeless with all this COVID coming up, right? I was comparing myself, who I was a month before, and who I was at that moment. But every single moment is the right moment we are in. We will change, we will face challenges. It will happen to all of us. That's why we can't compare ourselves who we were in the past, because who knows, maybe the challenges that you're going through, you need to go through to become even stronger, to become more resilient, so that you can live your best and your happiest life. The third step is self-compassion. I see so many people and my clients being so hard on themselves because they don't earn enough money, they get sick. I have a client who suffers from fibromyalgia, and she really struggles working. Like, she really struggles going to work and do things around the house, and she has foggy mind, and she lost quite a lot of friends, and she keeps comparing herself to who she were before. She was like, university teacher. She was very politically active. She had a lot of friends. She has an amazing social life. She was healthy. She wasn't in pain. But now everything changed. Her life completely changed. And she relies so heavily on her family. But before, she was the one who was supporting her family. And I see her being so hard on herself and beating herself up for not being able to do things the way she did before. And that makes her depressed. That makes her depressed, anxious, and thinking about suicide. And this is where comes self-compassion in. Life happens. We all go through challenges. We don't know what will happen in the future. Maybe our future will be bright and brilliant, maybe it won't. But be kind to ourselves, be kind to yourself when you're struggling. Because beating yourself up will not help you to become a better version of yourself. It will not help you to solve the problem. But being kind to yourself, it will help you to feel better about yourself. It will help you to be less depressed, less anxious. And it's known that self-compassion boosts happiness, boosts well-being, boosts health, and lowers depression, lowers anxiety, and it also helps us with problem solving. Because when we are kind to ourselves, we treat ourselves kindly and we see things, we are able to focus on the solution. But when we beat ourselves up, complaining about things, we get in this negative mindset, very negative mindset that somehow closes around us, and we can't see past that problem. We can't see past that problem and we can't find the solution. The fourth step is question your thinking. I learned this from Byron Katie. She is my amazing teacher and I love her so much. Question your thinking. Is it true what you're thinking? Is it really true? Because our mind comes up with stories, all sorts of stories all the time, and especially about the future. Or if we hang on to past so much, then we feel guilty, we feel grief, we feel resentment, we feel probably anger, all these negative feelings that keeps us in the past. But when we think about future, usually we don't portray an amazing and uplifting stories. Usually we come up with awful stories full of fear and anxiety. And we cannot be happy in this moment if we have so much stories going on in our minds. And our mind provoke feelings, usually feelings of anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, anger, and all these things. So question your thinking. I highly recommend that you look at the work, Byron Katie, and she has a spreadsheet on her website. Question your thinking. Is it true what you're thinking? How do you behave? How do you react when you believe your thoughts? And the next question is, who would you be without that thought? How would you behave? What would happen if you would be without that thought? And then, what advice will you give to yourself, or will you give to others? For example, if you're complaining about other people, what advice? And usually this advice is advice to yourself. And then she has turned over, but really turn over all the statements that you wrote down, and it brings so much insight into our life situations and into our thinking. And it's so liberating. I can't tell you how liberating that is. So I highly recommend. I will put also the link below in the description, is Question Your Thinking by Byron Katie. And the fifth step, how to live more in the present moment, is doing present meditation every single day. I love to do it at night because it helps me to calm down And you have so many apps, you know, mindfulness apps out there. I love to use Smiling Mind, but then you have Calm, then you have Insights, Insights. There's so many different apps out there, and because when I listen to these mindfulness meditations, it really helps me to learn how to catch my thoughts. And when I'm not in the present moment, when I'm thinking about things. And also, what I've learned is we don't know how to listen because we are not in the present moment. And then when we listen to other people, we don't really listen to them, but we came up with the stories or the answers all the time, so we don't really hear what they say, but what we hear, what we think that they think. Can you get this? We don't hear what they say, but we hear what we think that they think. And when you're in the present moment, you start listening to other people, really, really listening to other people. And then when things changes, this is when your relationships will deepen, will become stronger, and you will hear what people are saying completely in a different way when you are not in the present moment, when you are coming up with the answers and stories in your mind. So if you like this video, and I hope it helped you with tips how to be more present, how to be more grounded here and now, because when you're here and now, you come up with the solutions. You see things differently, and you see that life is not that bad as we usually think it is. So please like this video and hit the subscribe button so that more people can see it. And also I will put the link below about Byron Katie and Leonard Jacobson. They're my two most favorite spiritual teachers, and they helped me a lot how to go through challenges in my life. Take care. See you soon. Bye.